everyone, it's Hailey, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my signed book collection. So my shirt totally like matches the wall. I mean, it's a little bit lighter, but I basically match the wall. Probably not the best choice of shirt, but whatever. So I own 15 signed books, which seems like a lot, but compared to the amount of books that I own total, I feel like it really isn't that much, and I wish that I had more. I only have one that is personalized, and it is like my prized possession, but I really wish that I had more that were personalized. But I have actually only been to one author signing. I have never been to a YA author signing, and that's just because where I live in Canada, there's not a ton near me. So I'd have to drive 4 hours to go to author signings, and it's just not really practical considering that I don't drive, one. And two, I mean, taking the train, it would just end up being really expensive and just not really worth it. So I really wish that I could go to more author signings, but at the moment, no, I cannot. But once I go to Toronto, then I will be able to go to a ton, which I'm really looking forward to. And also the ways that I get signed books, a really good tip is to sign up for subscription boxes such as Owl Crate or Fairy Loot. They sometimes will include signed book plates as well as the books that they send every month, so that's a really great way to kind of amass a collection that has really helped me out. And also sometimes it's just kind of luck of the draw. Like, I will go on Book Outlet and sometimes they have signed copies of books for really cheap. Sometimes I'll go on Chapters and they'll have signed copies of books, or I'll actually go to Chapters, aka work, and they will have signed copies of books. Or sometimes I order a book not expecting it to be signed and it shows up signed. So there's really no tip or trick. The only thing is getting subscription boxes. That's kind of the only way that might help you amass a collection, but just try and go to signings too near you. I don't know. I don't have that big of a collection of signed books, so I totally lied. I have 2 personalized signed books. But anyways, I'll start off with those. So the first one is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. I was able to go to an event a couple of years ago with Margaret Atwood and Lawrence Hill, the author of the Book of Negroes, so I also have a personalized signed copy of this one as well. It was honestly awesome meeting them. It was so cool, and I'm just so excited that I have this because it literally, like, Margaret Atwood is such an iconic Canadian author, so I'm just so pumped about it. So now the rest of the books are YA. So the first one is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I got this one with the January Fairy Loot, and it came with a signed book plate, which I was so excited about because I loved this book so much. So I'm really excited that I have a signed copy of it. There it is. Also, it's signed in silver Sharpie, which is really cool. Next up is Empire of Storms by Sarah J Maas. Sarah J Maas signs a ton of books, but this is the only signed copy of a book of hers that I have. I was working the day that this book came out this past September, and I work at a bookstore, so someone had come in looking for signed copies, and I didn't know that we were getting any, so I like freaked out when I saw that we had some, and I absolutely had to get one. So I'm so excited that I have this, and I'm hoping that I will be able to get some more signed copies of her other books, because I feel like she just releases a bunch of signed copies on the day of their release. It's just, she's crazy. I don't know. I'm sad though because I was reading this book and it's in like terrible shape. Like literally the spine is detaching from the book, which sucks. So I need to get another signed copy of her books because this one is in terrible shape. Next up is Vasa in the Night by Sarah Porter. This is one I haven't actually read yet, but I got this in one of the Owl Crates last year. I'm not sure exactly which one, but it came with a signed book plate, and all I know is that it's Russian and weird. Oh no, it wasn't a signed book plate. It's actually signed, which is really cool. Next up is Three Dark Crowns by Kendara Blake. This one came with the September, I believe it was, Owl Crate, the one that was themed darkness, and this one came with a signed book plate as well. If you're not sure where to put your signed book plate, I generally will put it either on this page right here where it just has the title and then there's a blank space. I won't put it on this one because this one has more design, or I'll put it on like the one like this, which is just next to the copyright page. Basically any page that just has the title, or maybe it has publisher information, I just cover that with the book plate, but generally, preferably, I like to do the one that just has the title on it. Next up is Flashfall by Jenny Moyer. This one came with the December Fairy Loot, I believe, sci-fi adventure one. I believe it was December, but it came with a signed book plate, obviously, and it's a really pretty one too. I like this one because it matches the cover. Next up is The Retribution of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. This book I ordered off of Book Outlet like a couple or a few years ago, and then I finally read it this past October, I believe it was. This past fall I finally read it, and I opened it up and I had no clue that it had a, wait, obviously it's signed, you know it's signed, but it was signed. I was really excited about this, but I do wish it was on the first two books because I hated this book, but you know, it's whatever. I'll take what I can get. Next up is Rebel of the Sands by Elwyn Hamilton. This one I believe came with an uppercase unboxing. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure it came with that, and it came with a nice signed book plate, which I put on the very first page for some reason. Was it? Oh, I know why. Yeah. So this one, it was far too big to fit on the next page. It was far too big to fit on this page because it would cover all the sand, and then it just goes right into the book, so I just put it there. Next up is Champion by Marie Lu. This is the third book of the Legend trilogy, and I had ordered off of Chapters, indigo.ca, I had ordered the box set of the Legend trilogy, and then I opened this one up and I was like mind blown at the fact that it was signed because I didn't even pay for it. Like, I wasn't even expecting it, which is the best. Next up is Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. This one I remember seeing it on Book Outlet, and I had checked Book Outlet like just as it updated its new stock, and I was like so like mind blown by the fact that they had a signed copy of this book for, I think it was like $7. So I picked it up and I was just so pumped to have it. Like, how awesome is that? Next up is This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. This one came with one of the owl crates, the Good versus Evil one, I believe. I think that was July. I get them all mixed up now, but this one also came with a signed book plate. Next up is Roseblood by A.G. Howard. This came with the January owl crate, like the one that just passed, and it came with a giant book plate. Like, it is huge, so I didn't put it on this page because obviously that's really colorful, and that page you can't put it on, so I just put it on the very first blank page. Next up is P.S. I Like You by Casey West. I'm not sure which owl crate this came with, but I do know that it came with one, and this one also came with a signed book plate, which is a cute one again. Alright, now the final two books on my list are ones that I kind of went crazy trying to locate, because when I first was kind of getting into reading way back when I was in high school, I was a huge John Green fan, and I still am because he's a lot of the reason that I started reading. So I do really love John Green. I know he's not for everyone because people think it's all like mainstream and whatever now, but I really like his stuff. So I really wanted a signed copy of The Fault in Our Stars, and I could not locate one anywhere because everyone who pre-ordered it got a signed copy, but I didn't know about him then, so I just never pre-ordered it. So I ended up getting a copy of it for Christmas that year, but obviously not a signed copy. But anyways, so this past year, my sister was living in the States, and John Green had tweeted that he had signed, or it was 2 years ago, it was the year that Paper Towns came out, but he tweeted that he had signed copies of Paper Towns at like specific Barnes & Noble in the States. So I went online and I looked to see if like one near my sister had it, and she was like on her way from somewhere to somewhere, and they went like half an hour out of their way to go and get a signed copy of Paper Towns by John Green, which I was so excited to have. She brought it back and it was like the best thing ever, and it is signed with green too, which is like just the best. And then this past summer, one of my classmates from university was on Facebook saying how she wanted to get rid of a bunch of books, and I saw that there was a signed copy of The Fault in Our Stars, and I was like, I need this in my life. Like, I had been searching for it for years because The Fault in Our Stars is really the first book by him that I really loved. I mean, Looking for Alaska I read before The Fault in Our Stars, and I did really love it, but like this book, I don't know, it just really stuck with me. So I just really needed a copy, and she was nice enough to sell it to me, which I'm so excited about. I'm so happy that I have it because it was just like the one book that I really wanted to complete my collection. So I'm really happy that I have it, and I believe this one is signed in green as well. Where is it? Yeah, and this one is signed in green as well, and I'm just really happy to have it. So those are all of the signed books in my book collection. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what signed books you have in your collection, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!